Hello. I've worked with men over 60 for more than 30 years. And if there's one thing I've learned in all that time, it's this. Most of them lose their erections not because of disease, not because of age, but because of behavioral mistakes. They often come to me with their heads down, embarrassed, telling me they failed at the most critical moment. They describe how everything was going well, but then suddenly, their penis went soft. Some say it only happens occasionally, while others have completely lost confidence in themselves. And almost all of them have one thing in common. They're doing precisely what destroys an erection. It's not a hormone deficiency. It's not a vascular problem. These are simple, automatic actions that trigger an adrenaline rush in the body. And when adrenaline levels rise, the blood vessels in the penis constrict, blood recedes, and potency vanishes. I see this every single day. What's worse is that they do this believing they're helping themselves, thinking they're better preparing. But in reality, they are actively sabotaging their own sexual vitality. A study published in the Journal of Sexual Medicine showed that over 70% of erectile dysfunction cases in older men have behavioral, emotional, or vascular origins. This means most men aren't suffering from a physical problem. They're suffering because of incorrect actions that create the perfect conditions for failure. Today, I'm going to show you the 3 most common mistakes, errors I see even in experienced men. These mistakes seem harmless, but they subtly switch off the penis, just like a light switch. If you've ever failed, if you've felt that hardness disappear midway or right during the act, you need to hear this. You might be repeating these very actions, unwittingly digging yourself into a hole of impotence. To continue receiving such deep insights that help restore masculine strength and control and break the cycle of silence around erectile dysfunction, subscribe to the channel. Your recovery begins here. Now is the time to change things, because when you understand the root cause of the problem, it becomes much easier to reclaim hardness, confidence, and control. And before we dive in, please write your age and where you're listening from in the comments. Every man who leaves a comment represents thousands of others going through the same situation. And together, we can break the silence that is destroying the sexual lives of so many men in their mature years. Let's move on to the 3 mistakes. Mistake number 1, premature checking. This is a quiet, yet extremely common mistake among older men. A man is getting ready for a date. He sits in his car, adjusts his clothes, feels a sense of excitement, and along the way, without even realizing it, he starts to check his penis. He might lightly squeeze it, give it a short touch, subtly adjust his trousers, trying to elicit some kind of reaction right there, while driving or getting ready. This gesture, which seems like an innocent check, is one of the most dangerous saboteurs of male erection. The body perceives such behavior as a signal of stress. The mind worries, becomes unsure, trying to prematurely solve something that should only happen at the right moment. The result is physiological. Adrenaline levels rise, the nervous system switches into defense mode, and the blood vessels of the penis instantly constrict. A study published in the journal Urology showed that high levels of adrenaline in the blood sharply decrease penile vasodilation, preventing blood flow to the corpora cavernosa and making erection difficult, especially in men over 60. In other words, the very act of a man checking, touching, or worrying prematurely already creates the ideal conditions for failure. And when he notices that the penis hasn't responded well, panic sets in, and his mind starts spiraling. What if it doesn't work out? What if I fail again? What if it's like last time? This worry only makes the situation worse. Adrenaline levels climb even higher, and the more a man thinks, the less his body responds. I see this every day. Men with good health, normal test results, healthy testosterone levels, but their erection fails because they sabotage themselves even before the encounter begins. This is the first mistake that needs to be eliminated immediately. Don't touch, don't check, don't rush. Be calm, surrender to the moment, and allow your body to react naturally. Hardness isn't born from pressure, it's born from trust. Mistake number 2. Accelerating movements in an attempt to compensate. This mistake happens right during the act. A man starts well, but then notices that the erection isn't quite what he wanted. Perhaps the penis is starting to lose hardness, or maybe it's not fully rigid. In a desperate attempt to sustain intercourse, the man starts to speed up, increasing the pace of penetration, putting in more effort, thinking that intensity will save the situation. But this only makes things worse. Acceleration requires greater physical exertion. The heart starts beating faster, muscles engage in active work, and the body perceives everything happening as an emergency situation. The result? An instant release of adrenaline. And as we already know, adrenaline is the enemy of erection. It constricts blood vessels, including those in the penis, and causes blood to recede. What was already weak disappears completely. A study published in the International Journal of Impotence Research confirmed that increased sympathetic nervous system activity, that is, the body's reaction to physical and emotional stress, is directly linked to erectile dysfunction during intercourse, even in healthy men. Trying to compensate with speed is shooting yourself in the foot because the penis needs vasodilation, calmness, control, and consistent blood flow, not an adrenaline surge in the middle of the act. This mistake destroys a man's self-confidence because the harder he tries and sees that it's not helping, the greater the disappointment. The mind enters an alarm state, the body freezes, and the cycle repeats. I've seen men who suffered failures for years, thinking they just needed to try harder, when in reality, they were just adding fuel to the fire. If you notice that hardness is decreasing, never try to compensate with force or speed. Slow down, take a breath. Shift your focus to your partner's pleasure. Change positions. Give your body a chance to react naturally without pressure. An erection is not a test of endurance. It's a reflection of calmness, trust, and free blood circulation. Mistake number 3. Excessive focus on the penis during the act. This mistake is more subtle but extremely destructive. It occurs in the quiet of thoughts when a man is in the act, but all his attention is focused on himself. He is penetrating, but instead of surrendering to the moment, the touch, the connection with his partner, he is fixated on his own penis. He constantly evaluates, measures, checks the rigidity every second. Is it hard enough? Will it fail now? Has she noticed that things aren't as they used to be? This constant internal monitoring completely disrupts the natural cycle of arousal. The penis does not obey logic and does not respond to fear. It responds to feelings, to touch, smell, sight, emotional engagement. But when the focus shifts from experience to doubt, the body perceives this as a threat. And once again, a physiological reaction occurs. The sympathetic nervous system takes over, adrenaline is released, and blood vessels constrict. A study published in the Sexual and Relationship Therapy Journal showed that men excessively focused on their sexual performance have an increased risk of episodic erectile dysfunction and loss of rigidity during intercourse, even in the absence of physical problems. This fear-based focus on failure creates a state of hypervigilance. The man doesn't feel pleasure, he only feels tension, and the body cannot maintain an erection in a state of tension. I've had patients tell me, "I'm with her, but it feels like I'm alone in my head." And that's exactly what happens. The connection is lost, pleasure fades, and the penis gives up. So, if you want to regain your strength, stop looking at your penis. Stop evaluating your performance as if you were a machine. Focus on the other person's body, on the curves, the touches, the smell, the moment. True erection is born from genuine arousal, not from constant anxiety about performance. Your consciousness must leave the penis and return to pleasure. Only then will your body react as you expect. Conclusion. Erectile dysfunction remains one of the most forbidden topics among men. Few dare to speak about it. Most suffer in silence, pretending everything is fine, while inside, shame, fear, and insecurity destroy their self-esteem, marriages, and even mental health. But the truth is simple. It's time to end this. This isn't weakness or a whim. This is about health, circulation, and an active, dignified sexual life after 60. If this content was useful to you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with a friend, a brother, someone you know might be going through this. Because when a man receives information, he becomes stronger. But when he helps another man understand his body and break the silence, he multiplies that strength. This is the kind of information that saves relationships, restores confidence, and changes lives. And it only reaches those who truly need it when someone, like you, decides to break the cycle of silence. So, leave a comment with your age and where you're listening from, and please share this video. Stay with us, because here, masculine strength in mature age is taken seriously. You don't have to stay silent, and you don't have to carry this burden alone. Talking about it is an act of courage, and spreading this information means freeing other men from silence. He who understands the importance of this topic helps, and he who helps becomes part of the solution. Warm regards,